All right, guys. I mean, you're with me on this. We're gonna learn what makes a person attractive. Okay. Can't say much else. I mean, what else am I supposed to say for an intro? I said it last video. I was gonna react to it, right? And I'm gonna take the copyright strike because I'm not monetized anyway, so I don't care. I don't care. So fuck it. Let's go. And I can even curse. I can even curse in the first 30 seconds. Because, that's what's good about having the freedom to not be monetized, to just do something just for the fuck of it. Is that you can curse. And that you don't give a fuck about anybody. I don't give a fuck about anything. I'm going to learn. Let's see. What does make a person attractive, dog?
Our societies pay vast attention to the idea of sexiness.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Far more question-
Fuck yeah, they do. That seems to be the only thing they care about. It seems like that's the only thing motherfuckers really do care about nowadays. Is how sexy somebody is. And bro, you see how much fucking, she's spending money on this Kim Kardashian. Look at Kim Kardashian, dog. She's spending hella bread just to look sexy, dog. Getting plastic surgery, that's, don't even get me started on the psychology behind that. Why? Why do you need to get surgery? Why? Is it that bad? Do you want to meet the standards that everybody else has set of sexy that bad that you're gonna go and get fucking surgery? You gonna go get surgery? At least my man Kanye West, he's just natural with it. My boy Kanye over there, look at him. He look better than you. And he ain't got no surgery. As far as we know of.
Reasonably, they tempt us to believe that it might be easy to understand what this quality consists of. The leading suggestion takes its starting point from the Bible.
Is there a universal sexiness? Like things that are universal to everybody? Could you know that? Because people lie. You take a survey, somebody's gonna lie. Somebody's not gonna know that they actually find this thing sexy. How could you really prove that? How could you prove that there's any universal truth? How could you prove that there's a universal sexiness that everybody here living on Earth would find sexy? Right? Like, what's something I feel everybody might find sexy? Being fit? I think so. I think being fit, but no, there's a lot of people that like big. I've seen a girl that likes fat dudes. I also seen a dude that just likes, fat girls. It's like
biological sciences.
But okay, I think we're talking more of commonalities here. We're talking about the main things that the majority of people are into, right? Let's not look too far into it.
We learn that sex aims at successful reproduction and genetic fitness in the coming generation. Therefore, sexiness must logically comprise a host of semi-conscious signals of fertility and of resistance to disease.
Signals that
bilateral
do you
facial
ever
symmetry,
really pick?
large bright pupils, full lips, youthful skin, and melanin-rich hair.
A lot of those you're not
this analysis
working
too
towards.
quickly
You're kind of
assumes
just getting
that it
those.
might be simple to know what sex
Which is what's
really
funny about what sexiness a lot of the times is shit that you can never control. Seems like motherfuckers never find shit that people can actually work towards in their lifetimes is sexy. Seems like most of the shit we find sexy, most of it. I know a lot of it is not, it's obviously, you obviously gotta take care of yourself. I mean, if you don't, it's gonna be very noticeable. Like, you gotta get a haircut, clearly. But a lot of shit that they like, man, like, it's never anything that you really have that much control over. That's what's funny about it. That's why that game is stupid, in my opinion. I mean, it's not a game, and to say it's just stupid might be an oversimplification, but it's just like, it's not fair. Motherfuckers didn't choose to be tall. Motherfuckers didn't really choose to have that kind of fucking, facial symmetry and structure.
Unlike most other living beings, our biological drives sit alongside and at points take second place to a range of emotional priorities. Chief among these is the desire to overcome loneliness and share our vulnerability within the arms of a safe and intimate other. We seek, through a physical act, to overcome our customary psychological alienation and a host of painful barriers to being known and accepted. Viewed through such a lens, the erotic is not so much a promise of reproductive health as a suggestion of a redemptive capacity for closeness, connection, understanding, and an end to shame and isolation. It is this emotional mission that explains the conundrum sometimes generated by people whom one would expect, by all standard biological criteria, to possess an exemplary sexual aura,
God damn!
but who manage to leave us cold, just as it may shed light on the associated puzzle of those criteria to possess an exemplary sexual.
God damn! Kick her! Look at her! Look at the curves! Look at that! Look at this shit! It goes. This shit goes. By all standard biological criteria to possess an exemplary sexual aura,
but who manage to leave us cold.
Stamp, this is the only channel that can talk about this shit with such class, with such sophistication.
Just as it may shed light on the associated puzzle of those physically more challenged candidates who nevertheless lay claim to a rare power far outstripping the quality of their hair or the luster of their eyes. The people whom we call sexy, despite or aside from the raw facts of their appearance, are those whose features and manner suggest an unusual ability to fulfill the underlying emotional purpose of lovemaking. The way they respond to a joke, the curve of an eyebrow, the characteristic motion of their forehead, the way of holding their hands convey in an unconsciously understood but hugely eloquent language that one is in the presence of a kindly being who is liable to understand our broken and confused aspects, to help us over our loneliness and submerged sadness, and reassure us of our basic legitimacy and worth. Someone with whom we can at last reduce our normal suspicions, cast aside our armour, and feel safe, playful, and accepted.
Yo, what is that, man? I mean, I get it. They're getting naked and they're gonna fuck. Dude, what is this?
Cast aside our armour and feel
that?
safe, playful, and accepted. Whatever the quality of their skin or balance of their proportions, it is these aspects that have a true power to excite us. In a melancholy and avoidant world, this is the real turn-on. We hear so much about what we might need to do to increase our physical appeal. But by getting more detailed about the psychological traits that drive desire, we could learn to pay as much, if not more, attention to the foundations of an exciting mindset. Armed with a broader understanding of the aims of sexuality, some of the following might also, henceforth, deserve to be counted as valuable sources of sexiness. A sense of being slightly at odds with mainstream society. Whether at work, with friends, or around family, we're too often hemmed in by exhausting requirements to fit in and subscribe to dominant notions of what it means.
Motherfucker, it ain't no fucking requirement around here, dog. I don't fucking try to fit in. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I couldn't care less. Of course, that's just what I'd like to believe. I mean, in some senses, you gotta fit in, right? In some way that I'm not thinking of right now, I am trying to fit in, right? Like, in my daily day-to-day, in some way, shape, or form that I can't think of right now, I'm probably trying to fit in. It might be. And I can't say that I'm not, but I can't say that it's a requirement either. I don't think it's a requirement. It's a requirement maybe if you want to fit in. Like, there's a point. But to fit in, that's not necessarily necessary. It's just, look, I get it. Like, to be a deep thinker, to be somebody that doesn't want to fit in, to be somebody that questions everything, right? I mean, I am like the modern day Socrates. I feel like, that's how I would describe myself in a lot of ways, as of right now. But, it's like, I wouldn't see it as a requirement. It's just something that's obviously very nice and it's very helpful to fit in. It is very helpful, but I hate that that's the case. Because why, like, to fit in, that you're taking away a lot of shit, man. You're taking a lot of what it means to be you, whatever that might be, which of course you're an information processing system, so not much of what anybody is really that original. They're kind of working within the facticity, they're working with freedom within a cage, right? Like, you are, in a lot of ways, influenced by a lot of the shit that you couldn't choose. Who your parents were, how they treated you, where you were born, when you were born, well, the socioeconomic class, the arrangement of the systems that you're in, how everything works. It's going to influence you. The people that you go to school with, where you go to school, Who are they and what are they listening to? That's gonna in a lot of ways influence what you end up listening to. I mean, if hip hop wasn't popular around my area, would I have ended up maybe listening to hip hop? Maybe not. Maybe I would listen to country. If I was in a place where country was super popular, maybe I would have been into country. Maybe. I can't say that I necessarily wouldn't have been, but it's like to just try to fit in and not be yourself, not be authentic. I think that that is a tragedy. And I see why. I can't tell you not to do it because I can see it now. I can see why you'd want to fit in. Trust me, I know. I know. I feel very isolated sometimes. Feel very lonely sometimes. Feels kind of weird to be somebody that just thinks way deeper than most people do. That thinks like very differently from other people. That is in a sense very different than other people. And that's hard. But I mean, is that life really worth living just because you're maybe you're making stronger connections, but it well, who knows what worth living is? I don't know. You have to accept you don't know anything.
To be good and acceptable, requirements which nevertheless leave behind or censor a lot of our internal reality.
Absolutely.
There ends up being a lot we mustn't say, and even more we shouldn't even really feel. What a relief then to note, perhaps via a wry twitch in another's upper lip, that we are in the presence of someone who knows how to adopt a gently sceptical perspective on prevailing assumptions, someone with whom we'd be able to break away and express doubts about revered ideas or people, and cast a cathartically sceptical gaze on the normal rules of life. Good sex promises to feel like something of a conspiracy against everybody else. An unshockable nature. The more we're honest with and exploratory
Damn,
about...
so I got that aspect. I'm an open-minded motherfucker. That's basically what he just said. He said be open-minded.
ourselves, the more we realise that there is much inside our characters that might surprise or horrify outsiders, that we possess alarming degrees of vulnerability, meanness, strangeness, waywardness and folly. Our standard response may be shame and embarrassment, and yet we quietly hunger to be properly witnessed and accepted as we really are. What may prove supremely sexy, therefore, are suggestions that another person has explored their own deeper selves with courage, has a handle on their darkness, and may, on this basis, be capable of extending an uncensorious perspective on our own
These
deeper
animations,
selves with courage,
man.
has a handle on their darkness, and may, on this basis, be capable of extending an uncensorious perspective on our own. A tension between good and bad. Someone who paid no attention whatsoever to decency and scoffed at all propriety might be merely alarming. Yet what can prove uniquely appealing is a person alive both to duty and temptation, to the pull of maturity and the draw, at least for a little while in the early hours, of wickedness. A divided person simultaneously responsible and marked by a touch of desperation. Vigour and impatience. In addition, might come a potential for aggression and anger that they managed to keep very sanely under control in daily life, but that they knew how to release at points in private. Someone whose capacity for a little cruelty was all the more moving because it stood out against a customary habit of extreme consideration and gentleness. Kindness. A lot of our reality deserves compassion and sympathy. How compelling, therefore, to come across someone whose features would belie a willingness to extend charity towards a lot that is less than perfect in human nature. Someone who could know how much we stand in need of forgiveness, and who could laugh generously with and at us because they knew how to do the same in relation to themselves. We've allowed our concern for sexiness to be coarsened by physical obsession, because we are under the sway of an overly simplistic biological sense of what sex is aiming at. Yet, by recovering contact with some of what we emotionally crave from another person, we can, happily, but not merely conveniently, rediscover that the real turn-on is never just a well-polished body, but always and primordially a well-fashioned soul.
Great dates are made up of great
That's
conversation.
very cute. Very cute. I like that.
I like that a lot. I like that from the school of life. That's actually very nice. I like that. That's lovely. Let's see this. Be someone that makes people fall in love with who they become in your presence. Be someone that makes people fall in love with who they become in your presence. That is true attraction. Damn. That's a speaking of wisdom. What? Emotional maturity, intelligence, kindness, compassion, good conversationalist, and good soul is what matters the most, regardless of the gender. I wish more people would start paying more attention to their emotional growth and building good moral character rather than spending hours in the gym and showing off their physical or monetarily assets. You see, that's what I'm doing. I mean, I'm going to the gym because look, the mind follows the body, and the body follows the mind. Therefore, you must put, like Seneca said, you must perform rigorous exercises to teach your brain with your body, right? To teach your brain to get it under control. I don't know exactly how the saying goes, but you must do it because you must gain control. That's why I took a cold shower today. I had stopped on the cold showers. I was lacking. Today I took a cold shower to prove to myself that I have the self-control, that I have that on down pat. I have that on lockdown. I have the self-control necessary. And you need to do that sometimes, right? But it's like body and mind. Never forget it. Go to the gym, but also go to the gym with your mind. On your mind. You know, meditate, read, learn. Watch these videos. This is for the mind, you know? It's like, this is beautiful. What makes a person attractive? Dude, I'm practically like getting there on all of those. At least, you know. Yeah, see, that's the thing about like being such a skeptic about everything, is that I don't even know if anything I say is true. That's because I'm such a skeptic. So skeptical. But I know I'm trying. And that's what matters. I mean, I don't know if there's ever like a direct point where you know where you are somewhere, but I know that I'm trying. I know that I'm trying to be kind to people. I mean, I'm very open-minded, right? Like I will be at odds with the status quo. That's me. That's literally my whole entire thing. Sense of being slightly at odds with mainstream society. That's me. What else was there? An unshakable what? Unshockable nature. Sheesh. Somebody that does, yeah, tension between good and bad. Yeah, because you gotta be, I mean, to be only good or only bad, I mean, that's kind of boring, bro. Make it, have it fun, spice it up. You know damn well you can, I'm both of that, bro. Fuck out of here. Anyway, man, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one, man. Hopefully you guys enjoy that, learn something new. Maybe you learn what makes a person attractive. Maybe you didn't know some of that. Maybe you were one of them Doonies, one of them Donnies, I should say, that was just going to the gym because you thought a well-polished body is all that was gonna get it to you. Well, if you're talking about like look, when you're going up to a person, how they look is all, like when you haven't met a person, how they look is all that you have. It's all that you have. Unless if you're striking up a conversation in the library or something. Right? Like, somebody's only gonna come up to you if they physically find you attractive. That's the first thing somebody sees. That's the first sense of you. That's the first thing that they, like, consume of you. That's the essence of you, right? That's the first, whatever the fuck makes you you. Whether it be your content, whatever extension of me, right? You know, it's these videos. This is an extension of me, right? Any work I might make is an extension of me. Anything I create might be an extension of me. My smell, my voice is an extension of me. It's not necessarily just my body, right? But it's technically me, right? You'd say it's my body, even though it's coming out of my body, and you could hear it somewhere else. You could be standing there at the door, which is not in my physical, which is not the place which my physical body is taken up. But if you could hear it, if you could hear my voice, you could be like, hey, that's coming from that guy over there. And then therefore you are, you know, intaking and processing information that comes from me. So when somebody doesn't know you and they see you at the gym, at the club maybe, which is probably not really the place where you want to go to find a quality person, And by quality, I mean a specific type of quality. You know, you might find a baddie out there. You're probably gonna find a handsome man if all you're really worried about is a quick fuck, which is like, I don't really know anything. I mean, I'm not necessarily a traditional guy. I'm the guy who questions everything. I question if any way of being is right or wrong. I mean, I don't know if hookup culture is that wrong. I mean, I personally just kind of don't necessarily like it, because the person that I'd want to be with, I wouldn't have wanted them to to just go around fucking everybody. I really wouldn't. Right? Something about that, it for some reason it kind of would bother me a little bit if they was just out here like on some mad hookup culture shit before I met them, like just fucking everybody, just going around just fucking. I don't know. I could tell you right now, I probably wouldn't like that. But I can't say that that's the wrong thing to do, because it's like there's no right. It's not black or white like that. I mean, people are much more sexually free to do whatever their sexual liberation now. I mean, there's condoms. People used to be more careful back then, and it was much more employable to tell people to, you know, settle down and start a family, because then that way you'd be sort of forced by the system. It's insurance that the system has created to enforce a lifestyle wherein you can raise a child. That's why that exists, right? That stay loyal to your shit, right? Get a wife, get a husband, whatever. Settle down somewhere, buy a house. Give your kid a nice place to grow up and buy a house. Get a husband that works a nice job, so that he can provide for this child, so that he can go and get the education that he needs. It's set up for people that are gonna have a child, but I don't think necessarily just being loyal is part of that. It's not necessarily a part of that. It's not just tied to that. It goes leaps and bounds above that, being loyal. You know, it's not just because of the way that society was set up. I mean, there's studies that say that we are creatures that sort of evolved to only have one mate, even though other primates might not do that. Other primates might be very promiscuous. They might be fucking around a lot. But apparently they say, I don't know how true the stats are. I don't know how true it is, but they say that we're built for just one person. That's what they say. That's what I've heard. Okay, that's what I've heard. We are built to just be with one person, but you know, mostly biologically. Like, yeah, that's kind of how we like they say that we are sort of supposed to operate, right, with just one person. And I wouldn't be necessarily against that. I'm not against it. I mean, I'm a loyal guy. I'll tell you that right off the bat. Like, if I could claim anything about myself, if there's anything that I can claim, I'm a loyal guy, and nobody can tell you otherwise. Because I mean, I've never cheated, so everybody would agree. Other people would agree. I would agree. I'm a loyal guy. So, like, with that, like, I don't know. People are gonna do what they're gonna do, man. People are selfish. People are self-deceiving. People have fragile egos. People just want to feel loved, and they want to feel the attention. A lot of that is going to be sexual attention. A lot of that is going to be, let me just go fuck whoever because I want to get fucked because I want the feeling that I get from that. And they don't care who it is necessarily. They don't necessarily care too much about building a solid foundational relationship with this person. They don't really care to know this person that much. Just the basics, probably. They'll probably fuck right after barely getting to know each other right at that club as they're drunk, you know? And it's like, well, I don't know. Hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you guys on the next one.